All right, so on this model, the ascending aorta comes out of the heart, arches over the top for the aortic arch, and we'll come right back to that and go over the exits. The thoracic aorta descends down behind the heart, and then as soon as it passes through the diaphragm, it becomes the abdominal aorta. So if we go back up to the aortic arch and we look at the arteries that branch off of the aortic arch, the first exit goes off to the right side of the body and is the brachiocephalic trunk. And then the brachiocephalic trunk is going to branch on this side to the right common carotid artery here, which goes up the side of the neck, and then further branches to the internal carotid artery, which is more medial, and the external carotid artery, which is more lateral. And then going back to the brachiocephalic trunk, which is the first exit off of the aortic arch, it branched to the right common carotid artery, and then the other branch is the right subclavian artery, which runs under the clavicle and goes down to the upper appendage. So we'll come back to that. The second exit off of the aortic arch is the left common carotid artery. It comes directly out of the aortic arch and goes straight up the side of the neck. It branches to the internal carotid artery and the external carotid artery. And then the third exit off of the aortic arch is the left subclavian artery, which is also going to come out and go straight over to the arm under the clavicle. It just doesn't show it on that side of the body. Past the, at the back side of the neck, going up through the transverse foramina of the cervical vertebrae is the vertebral artery. On this side, it shows it kind of going through the cutaway where the vertebrae would be. And then it comes together with the vertebral artery from the other side at the base of the brain, right in front of the brainstem at the basilar artery. So the basilar artery would be right there. On the other side, it still shows that vertebral artery coming up, but it shows more of the bone as it goes through the bone and up toward the brain. So vertebral artery is right back here, and then I can't see the basilar artery on this side at all. Okay, on the venous side, there are two jugular veins. The internal jugular vein is more medial and is larger in diameter. The external jugular vein is more superficial. It's actually superficial to the sternocleidomastoid muscle, if we could see that on this model, and it's more lateral. Where the two jugular veins join or merge with the subclavian vein, that becomes the brachiocephalic vein. And then the brachiocephalic vein from the left and the right will merge to the superior vena cava and go into the heart. So over on this side, this is the internal jugular vein, and then right next to it laterally is the external jugular vein. Where that merges with the subclavian vein, it forms the brachiocephalic vein, which joins with the other brachiocephalic vein to the superior vena cava. All right, so moving into the arm, the subclavian artery, again on the right and the left side, because they're not mirror images, you need to know which side you're on. On this model, we're really only looking at the right side, so right subclavian artery. As it turns a corner and passes through the armpit, it becomes, same tube becomes the axillary artery. As it passes into the arm and runs right alongside the humerus, it becomes the brachial artery. And then it's going to split in the forearm and run alongside the bones. On the thumb side is the radial artery, more laterally, and on the medial side, running right alongside the ulna, is the ulnar artery. On the venous side of things, we'll start down in the forearm. This is the median antebrachial vein, which runs up and connects to the basilic vein, which runs up the medial edge of the forearm. Then on the lateral edge of the forearm and the arm is the cephalic vein. So cephalic vein on this side, basilic vein on this side, median antebrachial vein here in the middle, and then we have the median cephalic vein and the median basilic vein, forming this Y in the center. We still can see the radial vein and the ulnar vein at the back, which merge to form the brachial vein. The brachial vein and the basilar vein merge to form the axillary vein here at the armpit, and then the axillary vein and the cephalic vein merge to form the subclavian vein up here at the top.